evening, campers, and welcome back to Lotus Operations. And in today's video, I'm going to teach you something that most people already knows how to do, but I am going to teach you how to make a torch from scratch. Okay, campers, welcome back. And in order to make a torch, now a lot of this is common sense, but it still doesn't hurt to have a video teaching the people who don't know how to make torches, how to make torches and how simple it is. But in order to make a torch in a shit hit the fan scenario, you are going to need 3 items. 1, a fuel source, which this is the homemade kerosene that I made in a previous video, so feel free to check that out. I'll leave the link in the description. You need some material and you need a stick. The size of the stick really doesn't matter. It depends upon how big of a flame you're going to make, and so you can gauge it from there. And then first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the shirt up into a strip, and then we're gonna wrap it around the block. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to get your material that you're going to use to wrap around it, and you're going to cut it up into a strip. Now, the size of the strip determines how big of a fire that you want, but you are going to literally just cut it right on down the shirt, and then we are going to tie it. You know what? We're going to go small fire. So, cut your strip. I'm deciding to do a small strip since I have so I don't have too big of a fire because I don't have that much fuel. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get your stick and you're going to put it on here like this, down like this, and then you are going to wrap around it tight. You don't want it loosely wrapped. You want it to be nice and tight, going around the stick, locking this in over here on this, and then you're going to leave your finger in on the final wrap, and then you are going to go through it like you would a balloon to self-tie the string together, because otherwise, when it's burning, it's going to come loose. And then you redo it again. And if you need to use your scissors to push it through, use your scissors to push it through. And once you have it tied to your stick, now I didn't make it that thick for this video, but you can make the cloth however thick you want. The thicker the cloth is, the more fuel you're gonna need and the bigger your flame is. So now let's soak this. Okay guys, now we are going to take our homemade kerosene and we are going to put it into our jar. Now, if you're going to make homemade kerosene, it is in my fire playlist videos, and it is basically an 8:2 ratio. Then you're going to get your jar after you get this thing secured down how you like it. Then you're going to soak your cloth into the kerosene to get it all nice and soaked. Okay, we have it here. We have it out of the house because we don't want the fire extinguishers to go off. We're going to take it out of our container, put the jar aside, and then we are going to light the torch. And if you do the kerosene mixture correctly, you're going to get actually a nice pretty flame. Takes a little bit of time to light, but once it gets lit, it gets going good. And then you basically have a homemade torch that you can use to light your path, light your in camp, be able to get you where you need to. But just remember, this exposes your position. So if you're looking for tactical purposes, if you are trying to stay hidden from anybody who's potentially could raid your supplies, you don't want to be doing this. But if you're not worrying about that and you're just caring about light and caring about just basically having a way to survive, this is a way to go on it. So let's get this going, and we're going to see exactly how bright it is by bringing it to the backyard. Okay guys, so as you can see, we are using this to light our way down my back alley, and as you can see, this is with the torch in front of me, this is with the torch behind me, so you can see it's actually doing a pretty good amount of light going down the alleyway, and it is pretty decently dark outside. Not 100% dark, but we've got a little bit of darkness here. And this is basically handling the wind right now. As you can see, it's holding pretty well against the wind because it is pretty windy outside. And we're gonna see how bright it is by going a distance. This is the actual brightness outside right now. And my torch is still lit. And as you can see, it's handling the wind pretty well. There's really not going out. Okay guys, so with the lights turned out at the house, you can actually see how bright it is coming up to the video on just a homemade tiki torch made from homemade kerosene, handles the wind really well. No issues. The bigger you make the cloth, the bigger the fire, so the brighter it will be, so take that into consideration. And I guess this is it on everything you need to do for making a tiki torch, you know, and stuff like that. So there's really not too much else. Just be careful, as I've noticed that some of the homemade kerosene is running down the stick. So do not over soak this, because then it will be hot oil coming down. Or use another cloth to keep it wiped, or to absorb it for your hands if it's dripping too much. I over soaked mine, so it was dripping everywhere. But yeah, so that's it for homemade torch. And yeah, so those operations out.